It's the Frank Ski Show with Nina Brown. Nina Brown.
Yes, sir.
We got some special guests in the studio.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Are you excited? Tell everybody.
I've been waiting on this couple for a year now. When
year?
Devale came in last time, I said, where is KK?
Tell the truth,
Where is
Nina.
Khadeen?
She wasn't waiting for us. She's waiting for you.
Exactly.
I love
Okay.
that.
I'm
That's
just
true.
here.
I'm so happy
just
to be
here. I'm
here.
just the chauffeur. You know how it goes, Frank.
That's a fact.
Y'all
That was
know
just
that
like, give me the
voice.
ride. Yes.
We have the Ellises here, Devale and Khadeen Ellis. Of course, you know
Yes.
Devale, who plays Zach on Sisters,
Yes,
and
yes.
Zatima.
Zach Attack.
The Zach Attack, and his beautiful wife, who is an actress, podcast slayer,
Oh, my
mama
goodness.
bear,
Thank you.
wifey for lifey. I mean,
That's
all
for
the
life
things,
and
okay?
then some, and then some.
All the things.
Come
Wow.
on.
Yes.
They've got a book.
We
Yes.
do.
We Over Me, the
Over Me.
counterintuitive. And they're talking about all kinds of things in the book. Listen,
Yes, sir.
it is the best to hear it from people who do it right.
Hello, somebody.
And they've been doing it for like over 20 years, right?
Trying to do it right.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Going on 21 years together.
Wow.
But have known each other since elementary school days.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You know, I had my eye on him since like second grade-ish, you know.
Yeah, she
You know.
she a cougar. She's a year older than me. She was screaming
Not
on
a
a young
whole
boy.
year. It's more like 3 months and 24 days.
Yeah.
Tomato, tomato.
No,
Tomato,
no,
tomato.
no.
And you guys talk about all kinds of things, especially in the book, right? You discuss parenting, family, sex, intimacy, financing, commitment. It's an honest piece of advice.
It really
Yes.
is. It really is. I think at this point, people are wondering, like, well, how'd y'all get here? You know, it's easy to see the product at the end,
Okay.
or you know what you guys are exposed to through social media. But we felt it important to kind of expand on that, so you can see how we actually got here, because a lot of stuff happened in 20 years.
And that's what we need to get into, because I need the blueprint, okay? I'm in a relationship now. Y'all met him at the Hawks game.
Yes.
I
Nice
need
guy.
this one to work because he is amazing. But,
Okay.
girl,
Excuse me,
listen,
Nina,
sometimes I get
Nina,
in my own
Nina,
way. And I need to know not how to get in my own way.
Nina, we need it to work.
Okay. Why is this a we thing?
Because it creates the best Nina.
Okay.
There you go.
right.
We
I
need
feel you on that, bro.
Am I right?
You're absolutely right. My co-star, Crystal, we talk all the time because she's in and out of the dating scene. And I'm like, listen, I need it to work for you with somebody. I said, what you mean? I said, because you're better at work when you have someone at home. The same way
Yes.
I am. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I'm better at work when everything is good at home. So you just want everyone around you to find love.
For sure.
that part. But I have questions. I really want to get into, okay, so we're in couples counseling now. I decided I was going to do something different. Like, let's do counseling before we have
We're being
problems.
proactive rather than reactive.
Exactly,
Yes,
Khadeen.
yes,
yes.
But one thing that we talk about a lot is triggers. And have you guys had to deal with, like, in the beginning of your relationship, like triggers that you may have had or traumas from past situations and learning how to deal with each other's triggers?
Absolutely, and we talk about it in the book. I like to call it a multi-generational book, right? Because we discuss how our parents' traumas created them, who created us, and we're not trying to pass those traumas down to our children. And it all starts with triggers, right? You notice what bothers you. One thing we talk about in the book is how we learn to communicate through disagreements and arguments. So early in our relationship, the things that I did that I thought was going to make her a better partner triggered her to go back into a shell, and vice versa. So we just discussed how we navigated those triggers and gave each other grace.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was a little unique for us, though, because we did start dating at 18 and 19 years old.
Wow.
So at that age,
Yeah.
triggers weren't really a thing. You know, it wasn't like a catchphrase.
Right.
So I guess, you know, we learned to kind of grow together, which was interesting as well, because it's trying to be an individual, but also consider someone else in the process. So trying to figure out what you like and you don't like, but trying to be considerate of another person, you know.
We're going to take a
We
break.
we just dove right in.
No,
You know, look at that.
we ready. We got questions,
We
okay?
got questions. Y'all got answers.
All right, we are here in the studio. Tell them, Nina Brown.
We Over Me by Devale and Khadeen Ellis. The Ellises are here, and we are live on Instagram right now. If y'all want to see these beautiful faces, look at this beautiful face. My goodness.
you, girl.
Devale, you bagged her.
I'm winning.
'Cause look
I'm
at
winning.
her.
I'm winning right
Look at
now.
you.
And 4 kids later. Look at
winning.
this.
You'll be fine.
I'm
You'll be
winning.
fine.
So you guys
good.
been together since you were 18?
Yes, 18.
18. I bagged them.
She
I
was
bagged
deliberate.
them in college.
She was
Really?
deliberate. And then that's
Yeah.
an important thing to talk about because
Yes.
we have so many women these days asking, like, where do I find men?
Yes.
Where do I? And I often tell them when they ask me, like, don't sit back and just wait for a guy. If
Yeah.
you see a guy that you are interested in, go and go get them and say, this is what I want, because that's literally what she did.
I think nowadays, too, especially with social media being a thing, people are just walking around with these egos,
Okay.
right? And these facades, and they
Yeah.
just expect things to come to them, right? We
Okay.
want that instant gratification, that microwave relationship. It don't work like that,
I
because
don't.
the Val and Khadeen you see today took a while to get here.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, when they search for relationships, we hear this, it's a yin and a yang, right? What they say is they're either looking for love or they're looking for the right partner that fits within these perimeters.
Talk about
You
You
it,
get what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what is it that works? Is it just love, or it takes more than just love?
No, it definitely takes more than just love. And that's why the book says the counterintuitive approach, because when I learned how to love Khadeen, it was learning to be of service to her, right? It was learning to not say, Khadeen has to check all these boxes in my world in order to fit in my world. It was, let me check boxes for myself to make myself complete, and then share my complete self with someone. And once you found your complete self and you found your peace, now you feel like you can be of service and not always look for direct reciprocity in the way you want it, but you learn to receive it in the way they want to give it.
Wow.
That's a fact.
They've got a new book. So all of these nuggets and golden tools and
Eye
tips.
patches.
Yeah. It's in the new book, We Over Me. You can pre-order it right now on bookshop.org or online through Barnes & Noble. Okay, so I have to ask a question. Mainly for Khadeen. Like we
Okay.
always see on social media now, women who have these high expectations, right? They want the man to come fully put together. At what
Right.
point do you think a woman should stop dating potential and date a man when he's all the way put together?
See, that also takes time, right? Because how are we going to find that all the way put together person off the bat? This man, for example, DeVale, is not the same person that he was at 18, right?
not
So
at all.
our situation is a little bit more unique because we got to grow through that process. And I say that to say someone may not be tailor-made to you right off the bat. You're going to have to decide, am I going to commit to really learning who this person is? Is this person also showing me that he's a man of his word? One thing DeVale has always been was a man of his word. So I knew that I wasn't necessarily dating potential at the time. I felt like, wow, I had somebody who was delivering on the things that he said he was going to do for me, but also for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he had goals, and that's one of the first conversations we had when we started dating, and we talk about it in the book. We're like, what do you want to do with your life? And Martin was on TV, and we were in his dorm room. I was eating a sandwich, and he was like, I want to do that. And I said, oh, you want to be an actor? And he's just like, yeah. So I was like, all right, so how are we going to do that?
How we
going to do that?
That's
Wow.
what got
You
me.
know, and he was just so passionate. He had so much charisma. So I knew off the bat that there wasn't a potential thing here, but I knew that he was going to definitely hold up his end of the bargain.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you could give advice to people who are doing this for a second and third time, how do you restart so that you're not bringing that baggage from your past relationships into the present?
Well, the biggest thing we tell people is to try not to tailor make your relationship to other people's expectations. When you find someone that you want to share your love with, you guys look inwardly at each other and you tailor make your marriage or your relationship to what you want. If you try to tailor make it to everybody else, you're going to fail every time.
So I know you've got island roots.
I sure as hell do, baby.
Okay.
Link up to the island massive.
Now, I'm
Everyone.
dating a Jamaican that you met
Oh.
before. Frank Ski's wife is Jamaican.
Really?
Yep.
Let me find out.
And-
So wait.
Thank-
what-
Say it
So
again.
wait.
I'm going to pray for you.
You,
And
thank
that's
you.
what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now we know
no.
Please.
island folks have like y'all are intense.
We are. And
And
y'all love
0
this.
to
And
100
y'all love
real
it
quick.
Here.
Yeah.
Y'all love it
For
here.
no reason.
See, DeVale half the time is just like, you're crazy, Khadeen. I said, well, who's the crazy one? Because you still here. You like it in this world,
She
bro.
does say that all the time, and it pisses me off. Because she's right.
Because I'm right.
She's right.
So how do y'all like come up with the boundaries of like, okay, we're not going to cross that line? And did it take time? Y'all been together 20 years. So did it take
together a
time to
long
understand
time.
where that boundary was?
Yeah, it did take time, but it's also about giving each other grace. Like one thing I will say about Kay and myself is we always fought fair. I never just said things to hurt Kay. She's my wife. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time. I just never wanted to hurt her. And I think for her it was the same thing. She never said
Yeah.
things purposely to hurt me, but I also had to learn that when you say something to someone, how they feel about it can't be validated by your justifications, right? So I could feel right, by saying it, but if it made her feel a way, I have to acknowledge that and say, you know what, let me not practice repeating the same behavior, even if I feel like I'm right in saying it.
Can you say that again for mine? Because he listening. It doesn't matter if you was right or wrong. It's how you made me feel. Say it a little louder for the folks in the back.
And I will say this. It goes both ways, ladies. You can't just you can't just
off the hook, huh?
No, you can't always have your feelings validated, but then say to a man, well, man up and be a man.
Well, no, I enjoy that.
It has to go both ways.
I enjoy that DeVale expresses his feelings for sure. I don't have to pull teeth with that.
But it's hard because women feel about everything.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
If you say, do you want some cereal wrong? Well, what you mean? Well, some cereal. Do I look like I need cereal? No.
What you trying to say? I'm
You
fat?
have a Jamaican wife.
You know what I'm
have a
saying?
Jamaican
It's
wife.
like everything.
No, that's true.
No.
Everything.
No, it's true for sure. But I mean, also too, when I think about boundaries with DeVale and I, there's very little boundaries that we give each other, even as individuals,
Yeah.
right? Because we want to give each other the latitude to be able to grow. You don't want to be dealing with the same person you dealt with at 18, at 38. So being able to respect boundaries is a big thing for us as well, but also allowing the other the latitude to grow because that was necessary.
How did you make it through, like, when you guys hit rock bottom? I know you mentioned infidelity. You better have been talking about cheating on the game of Monopoly, DeVale. You better not be talking about nothing else. But how did you win the
Why
worst?
you gotta say Duval? See, this is
Thank
so
you. See what I'm
one-sided.
saying?
Because
You see what I'm saying?
Khadeen is
That's what I'm saying.
perfect.
It's always
She
presumed.
perfect.
It's
Look at this
always
woman.
presumed.
Always.
I'll
That's
put
just
it
how
out.
it
I
is.
can't claim to be perfect neither. I can't.
Okay, then I'll be fair.
Okay.
We won't even put it. You got to read the book We Over Me to know who
Yes.
cheated. But when the ish hit the fan and it just felt like back to back, just like trauma, drama, fights. How did you guys get through that? At one point, you had to have been like, why am I even doing this?
I decided to not let other people's idea of what our relationship has to look like dictate how I was going to treat or receive my wife.
But
and her
also,
feelings.
too, we were super honest with each other. Like, when things went down, it was like, you know what, let's just lay it out on the table. Because what we didn't want to do in that moment was take away the choice. And I think that's what a lot of people do. By not being transparent, by not being honest, you take away someone's choice to decide whether they want to be there or not. Because they're living under this umbrella that's a facade.
Yeah.
So we rather just say, you know what, this is what it is. This is how I felt in this moment. This is why I made the decisions that I made. And let's see if we are willing to work to move past that.
We
That's a
talked
fact.
the other day about the stupidest arguments we had.
Yeah.
Just in relationships? Or
Yeah.
just in
When you
general?
look back,
like-
but it was heated and serious at the moment. When you look back, you're like, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Y'all ever have any of those?
Yeah, we
I'm sure we
I remember
have.
one of the biggest arguments we had was with the stroller. And I told
the
this
stroller
I told
story.
this story
This
in
is
the
this
Black
is you
Love
pulling
Conference.
it out the crates.
it just had Cairo.
Cairo,
We just had Cairo.
our second son. Yes.
And we were blessed. We have a huge family. They all give gifts. So we had about 6 strollers.
It was like a hand me down and then one new one, DeVale.
All right, so it was about at
Putting
least
100
4.
on 10.
I'm gonna meet you in a minute. It was about 4 strollers, right? And we were getting ready to take our son to school. I was getting ready to take our son to school, and Kay goes, "Hey, it's looking nice outside. Can you get the strollers?" So I go out there to pack the stroller. I said, "Man, I can't find this stroller, but we do have the other one." So she goes, "DeVale, where's my stroller?" I'm like, I don't know. It's either in the car or I might have gave it away. And she's like, "You gave away my stroller?" I'm like,
Yo, you know strollers are like
Whoa.
cars nowadays. There's levels to the
Right.
stroller game. You gave away my $1,000 stroller, my guy.
So-
go and get it.
I can tell you're still triggered right now.
Triggers,
I can tell you're
triggers.
triggered right now. So
Go get my stroller.
So I'm
Bruh.
I'm starting to get upset, and I'm like, "Calm down. We have a lot of strollers." I dropped my voice. I said, "Calm down," right? And she was like, "Are you serious, DeVale?" I said, "I'm going to take Jackson to school. When I come back, we can talk about this, all right?" And she said something under her breath. And I said, "You know what, Khadeen? F that stroller, right?" And Khadeen said, "F the stroller? No, DeVale. F you." And I said, "F me over a stroller?" And one single tear dropped down my face. And then Jackson was looking at me, and I said, boom, I slammed. I said, "Now, I'm not dropping Jackson to school. We're going to talk about this." So Jackson goes, "So now I can't go to school and learn because y'all having an argument?" And I was like, this is
That is a fact.
the dumbest thing ever.
Poor Jackson was like
amazing.
6 years old, but so old.
He was,
so
he
mature.
was looking at us like, this is not serious. And
I love
Alright.
that.
All
If
right.
y'all ever have a girl, just consider naming her Nina. And I'm putting that on y'all.
Panina.
Panina.
That's actually super cute.
Isn't it?
There
I
it
thought
is.
you would like that, Khadeen. KK. I also like KK.
You like that?
Yeah.
Thank you. But this one over here got snipped, y'all. I don't know if you know. So.
Dang, you put my business in the
We
street.
spoke about
Golly,
it on the
bro.
podcast.
So we got to discuss that now. You can't just leave them on it. He got snipped, y'all. Like, we do have 4 beautiful sons.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yes.
What people don't know is that we almost lost Khadeen having 2 of them.
Oh my
With the
gosh.
first and with the last. With the first one, she had a cervical laceration, almost bled out. I was there. This is part of our love story. I was there when she had Jackson. I looked down there. It was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and all of the doctors and nurses had left because my son was born with a club foot. So they were rushing to him, and no one checked on her. And I was like, something's going on with my wife. And then they came back and they rushed her into surgery. And then this last one, she developed postpartum preeclampsia. One night she had bad headaches. Her blood pressure was like 200 over 120.
Yeah, it was really bad.
We rushed her to the emergency room, and we found out that, she had postpartum preeclampsia. But at that point, I was like, I have to do something to make sure that my wife is safe. And birth control doesn't work well with her.
Oh man, went through the gamut with those. Yeah.
It's my turn to put it on me and say I have to be the one to protect my wife. So I decided to snip the cherries.
Listen, and in honor of Devale doing that, can you all join me in the pass the peas like you used to do?
Oh gosh.
Pass the peas like you used to do. Y'all name that show, y'all.
So much.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
name the show.
I don't know the show.
I was
Do you know the
passing
show?
peas.
It's Martin.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, Martin.
Pass the peas. Well, this is for people who don't know. When you get snipped, they tell you to put peas
On the
in the
side.
area.
Yes.
So they put peas on the area. So every time she walked by me, she's like, "You need your peas?" And I'm like, "You think this is funny? I'm hurting." And then she would walk around saying, "Pass the peas like you used to."
Oh Lord,
That's
okay.
amazing.
All right, how to get the book
So
again?
don't forget, y'all can pre-order online right now at bookshop.org. But more importantly, mark your calendars. Next Tuesday, February 7th, you can get the hard copy. And we want you to get the hard copy of We Over Me so we can get them on the New York's best sellers list. Okay?
We would love
Appreciate
that.
y'all.
Yes.
Thank you guys for coming through.
Is
Nah,
it
thank
over
you.
already?
Appreciate you.
That's so fast,
You
man.
gotta
I
come
know.
back.
I'm coming back.
Pass the peas like you used to.
Pass the peas like you used to do.
Damn.